Hello Comms Club and welcome to March Matters video number 8. Now this should have gone out on Friday, but time ran away with me, so here I am making up for that on Sunday afternoon. And today's video is something that I want to talk about, which is not in the straightforward verbal communication that we make. So good afternoon, Louise. Lovely to see you joining me live. Louise, this afternoon's video is a quick one and it is about something called TNTs. Now, if you have been in my community for any length of time, you may well have heard me talk about the power of TNTs when we communicate. And let me explain where that comes from. Communication is the best way that we try and connect as human beings to one another. We were wired for connection and belonging, as the wise words of Brené Brown have taught us over time. And communication is our favourite and most common way to create connection. And therefore, we connect and feel a sense of value and belonging in each other's worlds in 100 different ways. Verbal communication is only one of them. And this group was created to help us to feel confident and clear when we communicate in a whole host of everyday situations. So I want to make sure that each one of you is aware of every opportunity you've got to raise the impact of your communication. And tiny noticeable things is what TNT stand for. Tiny noticeable things. So these are our opportunities to communicate to each other that we are important and that someone is important in your world, that what they like and dislike matters to you because they matter to you. And there's a phrase that Phil Jones always uses, which talks about connection coming from your ability to care about the things that the people you care about care about. And tiny noticeable things is a way of making sure that we take every opportunity we can to show someone that we have remembered what is important to them, what they care about, and to show that it's important to us. Therefore, ... because I care about what you care about, I care about you. And this is how I am making you understand that I care about you and value you in my world. So what is a TNT? A TNT can be just the smallest, hence the word tiny, noticeable thing. So when you want to say thank you to somebody, in their world, do you know that they value the written note more than a quick voice message or a quick text? If somebody thanks you for a birthday present with a thank you card through the post, if somebody sends you a get well message and it is a letter they've written to you through the post, or you periodically get cards through the post from someone, or you go and visit them, and whether they're in their office or at home, any card or any written message, handwritten message that someone has sent them is on show, or it's got pride of place, then it should show you that they care about the written note. And therefore, when you want to say thank you to someone, take the opportunity to make the tiny noticeable action of writing them a handwritten note. Do you know somebody's favourite colour? If you are giving a gift and that, say it was a notebook, say you were gifting somebody a notebook for a reason, and you had the opportunity to go into Paperchase and buy in any one of 6 or 7 colours. Do you know that the impact of that gift will triple, if not quadruple, if you happen to have consciously bought that gift, that notebook, in the favourite colour of the person that you are gifting it to? Because when they get it and they say, "Oh, purple, I love it. How did you know that was my favourite colour?" And you can say to them, "Oh, I heard you mention it once." It does huge things in the important stakes. It makes them think, wow, they remembered that my favourite colour is purple. I must be really important and valuable to them and in their world. And the answer is yes, you are. If you want to send flowers to somebody, do you know which flowers they love or which flowers they hate? I know my stepmom will tell me that if I send her white flowers for any occasion, it always makes her think of a funeral. So I've remembered that because the next bunch of flowers that I want to send her, I want it to have maximum impact. I want it to communicate to her that I'm grateful, or I'm sending her wishes, or it's a birthday celebration, whatever. So I'm going to avoid sending her white flowers because I know she doesn't like them. Do you know the flowers that were in somebody's bouquet on their wedding day? And if you could choose to buy them a plant or a flower, then choose it in a way that signifies that you have remembered a tiny detail about their life. And the fact that you've remembered it and actioned it, it sends such a positively powerful message to the recipient. Other tiny noticeable things you can do is remember the names of the family and pets of the people that are important to you. I don't have a pet. I'm not really like a pet fanatic, but I know that people who have pets are. And if you can remember the name of their dog is Bailey, or the name of their cat is Tiddles, and next time you see them, you bend down and say, Bailey, how you doing? And you give Bailey a little stroke. It will mean the world to them, like remembering the name of their husband or their kids. If you're going to give them a gift of food, do you know what they're allergic to? Do you know what they're intolerant to? Do you know their favourites? If you're buying them a gift voucher, to just go generic and buy them a, one shop for all or whatever it's called, gift voucher that they could spend anywhere. What is the power of the message if you got them a voucher for a garden centre because you know they love gardening, or you got them a voucher for their favourite retailer because you've listened and heard them speak about it? The power of that action to build rapport and strengthen a relationship and a connection, it skyrockets when you pay attention to the details and you act on those details in the most tiny of ways. But there's those tiny noticeable things that you've done to show someone that they matter to you. They are hugely powerful. And what I liked about this phrase TNTs when I first discovered it in a book called, it was something like Polar Bear Pirates. And I read it years and years and years ago. It's like a leadership book. And the TNT obviously stands for tiny noticeable things. But the story also goes on to say these tiny actions that we take, the tiny messages, the non-verbal stuff that we show and do to show people we care about them, when we get them right, they can be incredibly powerful. But if you get them wrong, then that TNT can be explosive, but in a bad way. And it can really be detrimental to the rapport and the relationship that you've built with someone. Let me give you an example. If you have worked, so let me give you an example that's relevant to me. So years ago, I had a line manager, and she had several of us who held comparable positions in our hierarchy. And I thought we knew each other really well. We'd had lots of contact in work, but we'd also been to residentials, training courses, meetings outside of work. We'd eaten and drunk together on lots of occasions. And therefore, I believed we knew each other quite well. I could tell you what her favourite foods were, her favourite restaurants were, which animals she loved, which books she read, which podcasts she listened to. I could tell you all sorts of things about her because she mattered to me. And I thought that that relationship was reciprocated. And then one year, as a Christmas gift, she sent all of us at the same hierarchy level in her team. She sent us a really expensive food hamper. Now, I know that this was intended to show me the value of me in her team. But the fact of the matter is, it had exactly the opposite effect, because that really expensive hamper of food and drink contained virtually nothing that I could eat or drink, because I thought that she would have known after all of those years that I was vegetarian and I don't drink wine or champagne. Yet this food hamper, it might have cost hundreds of pounds, but it contained items that I couldn't eat or drink. And in that one heartbeat, receiving that really expensive hamper, it told me that I didn't really matter in her world, and I wasn't important enough for her to have picked a gift that was right for me. So when we get it wrong, it can have a really negative impact on the relationship. So it's worth thinking about those sorts of things and what you know and what you remember. And also it's not about, tiny noticeable things isn't about money. It's not about the amount of money you spend. It's about the thought that you put into the action. So a £5 gift voucher to somebody's favourite garden centre is much more powerful than a £400 hamper full of food and drink that they can't or don't eat or drink. It's not about the financial commitment. That's just show. TNTs, tiny noticeable things, when we act and communicate the importance and care that we give and value we place on people in our lives, it's all about how close we get to showing them that we know them, that we see them, that we understand them, and that we value them. So when it comes to communicating, have a little think about the people that you love most and the people that you want to strengthen your relationships with. What do you honestly know about them? What tiny details do you know about them? And how often do you use those tiny details to show how much you value them, think of them, care about them, and want them and thank them in a whole host of everyday situations? So communication isn't just about the verbal, it's in our actions. And TNTs, get them right, they are incredibly powerful. Get them wrong, they are horribly destructive to a relationship. Never underestimate the tiny, noticeable things that are within your gift to show people that you care. Okay, I will be back here bright and early on Monday with the next video. Bye for now.